Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole and I'm a Toronto-based wedding photographer, and today I'm going to talk about something that I think could be helpful. It's about how to shoot photos in a dark barn. I think barn venues are so gorgeous with their rustic charm, but lighting them can be tricky. In this video, I'm going to share my top tips for how and when to use existing ambient light in a barn, when and how to switch to using flash, and how to balance the ambient light with the flash on your camera to achieve stunning images. I'm also going to use some real examples from weddings that I've shot in a barn just to show you exactly what I mean. So let's dive right in. So my first tip when shooting in a barn is to look for pockets of good light. So when I first enter a barn or any venue or room, I try to find out where the light sources are and where are the pockets of good flattering light. Many barns have windows or doors, areas that are open that allow natural light to come inside. For example, this barn that I was shooting in had a large door open behind me. I positioned the bride and groom close to the entrance, and so that the result was that they were lit evenly from the front. By using the opening on the barn, I was able to achieve a beautifully lit portrait of the couple with soft natural light highlighting their faces and the details. Similarly, when I'm shooting photos of decor, I will focus on shooting tables and decor that is located near these beautiful sources of light. So here's an example of a decor shot that I took in the same barn. I purposely chose to photograph this table because it was located right next to a large opening on the side of the barn. The light from that opening created beautiful, even side lighting, making the details stand out while maintaining the rustic ambiance. So my first tip is to find these good natural sources of light and use them to your advantage. This can help save you from needing to use flash, and you can get flattering, soft, nicely lit photos using existing natural light sources. My next second tip when shooting a barn is when you need to go deeper into the barn and the existing ambient light is a little bit less. When I need to shoot deeper into a barn and when the light levels go a little bit lower, I like to switch to using prime lenses. My favorite lens for this is the 85mm. This lens allows me to have a wider aperture like f2.0 or 2.8, which will allow more light to enter into my camera. Another reason that I love this lens, especially for like candid photos, is that its longer focal length will allow me to stand further away from people. This is perfect for candid shots because I can stand further away from people and not invade their personal space, and I will get more genuine, real type reactions from people. I can stand on the edge of the barn and stay out of everyone's way while capturing genuine reactions in an unobtrusive way. If I'm still struggling to get enough light into my camera, or if my photos are turning out blurry, that's when I will turn to my flash. I will mount the flash onto my camera and I will ensure that I turn it to TTL mode. That way the flash can adapt quickly to whatever the situation is. So in a barn, it's difficult to bounce your flash usually if you have like brown, dark, high ceilings. So in the case of a dark barn, what I will do is I will pop up the bounce card just like that, and that will help force some of the light forward to light up the subjects or the people. I find using this method will give you clean, evenly lit photos with the people in the foreground lit nicely. This setup is great for photographing things like speeches, dances, or any candid reactions during a wedding reception. I use that when I want to light up the subjects or the people in the photos while still maintaining the ambiance of the scene of the barn. But the key to making those flash shots look natural is in balancing the flash with the ambient light of the barn. So I'll go into a little detail about balancing the flash and the ambient light. So I could go into that barn and I could set my camera to something like f10, shutter speed, 1/200th of a second and ISO 100. I could do that, but if I did that, I would block out almost all the ambient light in the room. This can look a little more harsh and unnatural. So instead of doing that, I will adjust my camera settings to allow more ambient light in the photo. So I'll start by opening up my aperture. And I usually open up my aperture to about f2.8 so that I can let in as much light as possible. Then I will set my shutter speed to the lowest possible shutter speed I can get away with without introducing any motion blur. So for me, that's usually 1/160th of a second. This is usually slow enough to avoid any motion blur while still letting quite a bit of light in. Finally, I'll increase my ISO to usually about 1200 or higher. This all really depends on how dark the situation is that you're trying to capture. These kind of settings usually help me capture the nice rustic ambiance of the building, any string lights or candles that are in the background, while using the flash to light up the people in the foreground. So here's an example where I use this exact method. For this shot of a couple's first dance, I use my flash with the bounce card to light the couple and guests nearby. I also made sure my camera settings allowed for enough ambient light to come through, which let the twinkling lights in the background remain visible. The result is a balanced image that captures both the couple and the beautiful barn atmosphere. So there you have it. Those are my top tips for shooting in a dark barn. From using natural light to using flash and then balancing that flash with the ambient light, these tips will help you capture beautiful images in the most tricky situations. So if you found these tips helpful, please like this video and please subscribe for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy shooting. I will see you next time. Bye.